Welcome to Aging on the Suncoast. I'm your host, Jason Martino. Like previous years, the Medicare open enrollment period started October 15th and will end on December the 7th. This period is a critical time for Medicare beneficiaries to review and understand their Medicare coverage. To help consumers in Pasco and Pinellas counties, the Department of Elder Affairs SHINE program provides unbiased, free, and confidential counseling to assist beneficiaries make independent decisions in order to maximize their Medicare health coverage. On today's show, we've invited back Janet Mills, the SHINE Area Coordinator, and Charles Frankel, the SHINE Local Area Coordinator. Together, these two seasoned SHINE volunteers will shed light on a valuable program that has helped beneficiaries navigate a complex system of health care coverage for over 25 years. Janet, welcome back to Aging on the Suncoast.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Charles, welcome back as well.
Oh, good to be here.
You guys have been a great asset for our show for many years, helping to explain what SHINE is and to help beneficiaries understand where to go and get help with that. So this year, like many other years, the 2019 Medicare and You book has been published and available all around the nation. And obviously on the back of that book, it mentions the SHINE program. So Janet, what's the mission of SHINE?
To provide free and unbiased counseling. We do that through teamwork of dedicated volunteers to make the best health care choices. We don't make the choices, but for the clients to make the best health care choices that they can possibly make.
Yeah, and you really give them the tools to make all those independent decisions. I've seen you guys working in action, and you guys are definitely hustling. So today we're gonna put a large emphasis on the SHINE program. Certainly, SHINE is not everything that you do. You're working with the Senior Medicare Patrol project, and you're also working with some financial assistance programs. But a majority of what we talk about today is going to be with SHINE and the volunteers and what they do and how they help beneficiaries. So let's pretend. I'm just getting ready to retire, and I am taking a look at my future health care, and I am getting ready to start to pick a plan through Medicare, and I'm considered quote unquote new to Medicare. What are some of the things that I need to be thinking about at that time?
You need to be thinking about how much risk do you want to assume? Do you want to keep your doctors that you currently have? What prescription drugs do you take? Do you travel? Do you want a local Medicare Advantage plan or a national, or maybe original Medicare and a Medigap and a Part D? Those are the choices, and they are outlined now on page 2 or 3 in the new Medicare book. So those columns are right there for you to look at.
Yeah, and supposing that I thought all that through, how does Social Security, how does that factor into all this?
You have to have Medicare A and Medicare B to go in either a Medicare Advantage or a Medigap way, and you do not have to be taking your own Social Security at the time when you enroll in Medicare. You can be billed for the Part B premium. Your Part A is generally free to you.
Okay, and I have options out there as well. Looking at my health care, I can stay on my own employer's or my previous employer's health care, and
correct.
It's usually a pretty pricey plan if I remember correctly, and talking to some of my colleagues that were getting ready to retire. So, but at least I have options, right? Yeah. So pretending a little bit more. Let's say that I am well established in my retirement, and I've chosen a plan through Medicare and all the advantages that it offers, and then comes a time where I might want to switch up my plan. What am I to do then, Charles?
Okay, well, now's the time to do it. As you said, October 15th is the beginning through December 7th, and that's when you can make any change to your plan. And we always recommend that you review your plans. They're going to send you changes. The other plans are going to have changes. It may be in terms of the co-pays, it could be in things covered, it could be in the doctor or other provider networks, lots of changes. So it's a good time to review, and this is the time you can change, and we can help you do that.
And you mentioned the key word in here, open enrollment period. What exactly is that?
That's when, if you're already in Medicare, you can change from what you currently have. You can keep it if you want, or if you're in an Advantage plan, you can change to another Advantage plan. You can go back to original Medicare, get a drug plan, vice versa. So almost any plan option in Medicare, this is when you can change if you want to.
Oh yeah, and that's not all year round though? It's only a certain time frame,
usually
right?
This is the one time you can do it. There are other exceptions, but this is when everybody can do it.
Okay, and what are those dates?
December 7th through, I'm sorry, October 15th through December 7th
Yeah.
for an effective date of January 1st, 2019.
So that's roughly 2.5 months for people all across the nation to make some pretty critical choices in what they're going to do with their health care coverage. And let's talk a little bit about the, back in the day there was the issue with the gap or the donut hole as well. How do I take a look at that, Janet? The gap or the donut hole to see where I'm
Well,
at?
the brand name medication gap is closing, so there will be no more gap for brand name, but there will be for generic drugs for 1 more year. But then there are other ways that Shine can help to see if there are prescription assistance or foundation programs to help you with your costs. But we're looking forward to not having that brand name gap in 2019.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue that people don't want to have over there. And you mentioned the Shine program helping that. A large part, from what I understand, is the volunteerism that goes into it. We're going to spend some time on today's show talking about specifically those volunteers and what it takes to be that incredible person on there. But what kind of roles do some of your Shine volunteers play in the Shine program? Charles?
Okay, well, we've already mentioned that they can help you review plans. As we said, we can look at all the plans that are available in an unbiased way. We can also help with, perhaps you have problems, you need to make an appeal. We can give you more information on what Medicare or your other plans cover. We can also give assistance. There are some financial programs that we can help people apply for and describe to them. We also do now the SMP, the Medicare Fraud Patrol. We help educate people about how to protect themselves from fraud. And there are probably other things I've even forgotten.
Yeah.
We help with some medical billing problems, and we try to help with those. And because people are just overwhelmed when they have bills or choices that they don't know what to do with.
Yeah, and I'll emphasize that what we do is we try to help other ways to pay them. Shine itself, unfortunately, does not have the funds to actually pay those bills, but we can help find other resources for people.
Yeah, that's a great statement. Shine doesn't come with a whole lot of funds to help out that piece, but they help them navigate and they help them understand what types of protocols that person would have to take if they want to appeal certain decisions and do some stuff like that, right? Yeah. Any last comments on our closing statements when it comes to Shine and the open enrollment period on there?
It is our busiest time of year.
Sure is.
But we have lots of volunteers that work extra hours during this time period. So please call us. We're here to help you.
Yeah. Anything else, Charles?
Well, just that many people found it so difficult to make the choice in the first place that they're reluctant. But it can be very important to review because of so many changes. So we encourage you to look.
Yeah, and especially during the open enrollment period, it's that critical time where they're going to need to make those choices. The Shine, and we talked about the mission of Shine. We've talked a little bit about what those volunteers can actively do, but I don't think we actually came up with any kind of broad definition of what actually Shine is. Janet, can you help us with that?
Shine is actually an acronym, Serving Health Insurance Needs of Elders. It's called SHIP. It's in some other states. It is a national program. We all receive a lot of training to be able to do this, and we are a team. And we have outreach sites where people can go and sit face-to-face for appointments. And we have the Area Agency on Aging phone line that you can call to get help also. And I believe that phone number will be put on the screen later in the program.
Yeah, you're definitely right. We're going to run that on the graphics in the middle of the program and then also at the end of the program. And I just wanted to highlight what you said about this program being a national program. And I think it's a funded program by Congress and all the people that make all the decisions for us in some ways. And I think that that's notable in some ways, that they recognize that seniors will need help at certain points in time in their life to navigate all the complexities of Medicare. So they allow each state to roll this out, whatever name that they call it in, but either way it's available in each of the 50 states around there. And then, like you said, in the state of Florida, It's called the SHINE program, the Serving Health Insurance Needs of the Elderly over there. Qualifications, volunteers, and like I said before, we're going to really spend some time on understanding what type of person really does volunteer with the program. But broad look, what kind of qualifications does a general SHINE volunteer need to become if they want to volunteer in the program?
Okay. Well, there really a broad range of backgrounds are important, but as you might have gathered, it's not your typical volunteer thing. It does take some dedication. It does take some computer skills. It takes, the normally wanting to help people, certainly. It takes an inquisitive mind because you do a lot of problem solving.
Yeah.
Beyond that, the one thing, if you're still an active insurance agent, then unfortunately that is not thing, but we do have people who've retired from that who are very good counselors. So people come from a broad range of backgrounds that are good counselors.
Yeah, I think you're right. Janet, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you can get SHINE help in a couple different ways. And one of the ways that you mentioned, and like I said to the audience, is that we'll publish this number on the graphics in the middle of the show and also at the end of the show. And then you mentioned that we're also out in the community. And what do you really mean by out in the community? What do we do out in the community?
We do a lot of presentations concerning Medicare and the Senior Medicare Patrol fraud. We participate in health fairs, so we're out in the community where other healthcare providers are. We are non-biased. We have nothing to do with any insurance agents, but we're there to promote what we can help people with.
Yeah, and just my running around the community, I've always seen the SHINE logo, and I've seen that I've recognized that you guys are really saturating the community in many degrees. I've seen you all at health fairs that they offer around there. I think I've seen you guys in a lot of different libraries around Pinellas and Pasco County. And one of the things I know by working with the Area Agency on Aging and the fact that we have the new Senior Medicare Patrol project is that SHINE logo is going to change a little bit. And where it looks exactly like the one on Charles's shirt, it's going to be a little bit different because it's going to incorporate the fundamentals of the Senior Medicare Patrol, what we affectionately call the SMP program. And just like you said before, that SMP program is really designed to help consumers understand how to prevent fraud and how to detect fraud or abuse on there. Anything else we want to add to that about the SMP program?
No, if you think you have been frauded, you need to call the SHINE, the Area Agency on Aging, and we will take the information and get the process working for you. So it is new to us, but it is a fine line between a complex billing problem and fraud sometimes. So we have experience with billing problems, so now we're into the fraud piece of it also.
Yeah. Charles, anything to add on that?
Well, just that we do like to emphasize it's really important that people protect their personal information, especially their medical information. Yeah. They are also individuals, the first line of defense against fraud. They should review their statements, and this is frequently where it's first discovered that something not quite right is going on. And if they can pass that on to us, we'll make sure it gets to the proper people. Yeah,
and I'm so guilty of that. When I get my explanation of benefits sometimes through my normal primary health insurance on there is I skim it, but I really don't take all the time I think is probably necessary to go through and just make sure that some of the charges that primary physician or whoever I saw at that time are all legitimate ones. And so to be taught that type of information is really probably an essential way for me to be on top of the fact that there could be some potential abuse or fraud on there, and that's what you all do such a good job on.
Yeah, and it's billions and billions of dollars, and people say it's not mine. Well, yes, it is yours. You're the one paying for this.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So I'm really happy that you all came back on this show. We're covering a lot of things that we covered next year, but some new stuff on here too. We're talking about Senior Medicare Patrol, and we're going to take a quick break and come back for the second half, and thanks again. Please stay with us while we take a short break. As usual, don't forget to have a pen or pencil ready. During the break and at the end of our show, we'll be running contact information for the Aging and Disability Resource Center helpline, as well as the State of Florida SHINE SMP website. When we come back, we'll dive into some beneficial financial assistance programs that can put money back into your pocket and help with the cost of prescriptions.
James is 70 and a writer whose joint pain has been a story in itself. His doctor prescribed a new medication that may not be affordable, even with James's Medicare Part D plan. James called Shine. Shine volunteer counselors can guide you to money-saving prescription assistance programs, including a program that helps pay Medicare Part D plan costs for limited-income seniors. Shine costs nothing but could save you time and money. More information is available at 1-800-963-5337.
Welcome back to Aging on the Suncoast. During the first half of the show, Janet Mills and Charles Frankel helped us understand how the SHINE program can help Medicare beneficiaries make critical decisions unbiasedly and for free. So let's continue this important discussion and look at additional financial assistance resources that can put money back into your pocket or help with the cost of prescriptions. Janet, Charles, welcome back to Aging on the Suncoast. You didn't go far, did you?
Yeah.
All right, so we talked a great deal about the SHINE program, how those volunteers can really help beneficiaries on the front end make those critical decisions and kind of navigate through all the complexities. I've probably used that phrase a couple times today, but it's the truth. And but what we also know that there's a wealth of people in Pasco and Pinellas County that are eligible for a lot of different financial assistance programs that are at their disposal, but they just don't seek them out or they just don't know about them. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on the second half of our show talking about that today. One of the first ones that we're going to talk about is the low-income subsidy. And Charles, what is that?
Okay, low-income subsidy, also known as Extra Help, is a Social Security program that can help pay for some of your medications, lower your costs. And it works in conjunction with a Medicare Part D drug plan to lower perhaps the premiums, your copays, and it can be a tremendous benefit to people. It not only can lower costs, but in many cases it means you can now afford to get a drug you couldn't otherwise get.
Exactly.
So it can be life-saving.
Yeah, that could be life-saving.
And there are many more people, we think, who are eligible for this than currently have it. Now there are income and asset limits. The application process we can help with. That's one thing. If you're on the phone with us or if you're in person with us, we can go to the Social Security website and actually take your information and complete the application online. It's a very short process, 10, 15 minutes. You should hear back from Social Security. We're not the ones who qualify you, it's Social Security. And you will hear from them by letter, usually with less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it can be immediately helpful to you.
Yeah. And
now the qualifications, I said, their income and asset levels, and you can look up what they are, but keep in mind that sometimes what really counts as income varies. What counts as assets may vary. So if there's any chance you think you may qualify, we encourage people to apply. You may be surprised.
yeah, yeah.
And it can be, as I said, a tremendous benefit.
And many times all you can do is just hear no from the other side of things.
Yeah, that's the worst
Yeah.
that can happen. As I say, it's a pretty painless process to apply.
And I'm enamored by the fact that the SHINE volunteers can take that residents' information and then they can do the application for them online, because many of the people that we're serving are homebound and they don't have that option to actually go to the Social Security office, or they might not even be proficient on the computer where they can actually get on the computer and do that application themselves. So what a wonderful asset that you guys are providing in there. Another program is the what we call acronym, and we're always trying to reduce our acronyms on the show because I live in a world of them. We call it MSP, but the real name for that is the Medicare Savings Program. What is the Medicare Savings Program?
That is another program that can help with medical costs. The state will, if you qualify, pay your Medicare Part B and maybe more. And there are also income and asset levels. We have to complete those offline, but we do those with you. Might take 10 or 20 minutes, and then we mail them to you for your signature and date, along with a pre-addressed envelope to mail it to Department of Children and Families for processing. That can take up to 4 weeks before you get a letter of determination, and then maybe another month before your Part B premium stops coming out of your Social Security check. But it is an extremely helpful program. And by qualifying for that, you might also be able to enroll in some less expensive Medicare plans. So it's a process, and we're all very HIPAA compliant. We have to take an oath, so we do protect your privacy.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think just about everything that we do with the Area Agency on Aging and throughout the SHINE program, and we really preserve the commitment to HIPAA. You mentioned that you send it to the Department of Children and Families. Are they also the party that makes the final determination on that eligibility?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So just like Charles said, the two programs that we talked about, in addition to some of the help that the SHINE volunteers are offering to people in the community, are a way to offer you cost-saving measures. And I said it in a kind of a low-tech way. It puts money back in your pocket. But just like Charles said, when you have money back in your pocket, it increases the options of what you're going to do with your money. So either that your formulary or your prescriptions are going to have be more affordable for you, or you can use it to pay off maybe a debt that you have, or if you're having trouble with your power bill, you can use that money that you're getting back in your pocket. So it only behooves somebody, in my opinion, to seek out to see if they're eligible for it. And you guys are the right people to talk to, right?
Right.
Yeah. So because you guys are the right people to talk to, let's talk about volunteers. You all are volunteers yourself. You've been doing this for such a long time, and I'm so proud of everything that you do, as one person could be proud of another. And you're also mentoring a lot of different volunteers through the Area Agency on Aging that play a role in SHINE and or the Senior Medicare Patrol and or help with the low income subsidy and or help with the Medicare Savings Program and all the other pretty cool things that you do. So let's talk about that special group. Last year they served up to about 22,000 people living within Pinellas and Pasco County. They did that out in the community at health fairs, at the libraries. They did that on the phone. What if I wanted to be a volunteer and I had that time, what can I expect? Charles?
Okay. Well, you're going to have some pretty substantial training to begin with. You're going to have to go through a background check because you are dealing with very sensitive information on people. The training itself, initially there's some online training of about 8 courses, 2 hours each, and then a full day in class doing that. Then there will be ongoing training throughout, when you're doing this. Then there will be a mentoring process. And when you're finally ready to be signed off and do it, there are different ways that you might decide to do your counseling. Yeah. You can do it on the phone, you can do it in an outreach site. Perhaps you like to give presentations and do that type of thing. So there are some choices, but it's something that does take some dedication. I don't know so we have a set number of hours, but as you can imagine, you're making a big investment in doing this training. SHINE is making a pretty big investment in training you to begin with and keeping you going. But we find it a very rewarding and worthwhile experience for many people.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a little bit of a commitment on both sides.
On both sides,
yeah,
yes.
You use the investment term.
There
Jen?
is an orientation and sort of interview process in the very beginning, and there will be one coming up shortly in the next week or two on both counties. So if you are interested in volunteering, please call the Area Agency on Aging and express that, and then our management will call you back.
Yeah, exactly. And is it to be a volunteer, do I have to have a rich, robust background in Medicare and healthcare, or can I come from any walk of life really and offer some whatever aptitude and knowledge I bring to the table?
I think your dedication and wanting to help people and being a very patient person helps a whole lot. But we are a team and we have great respect for one another. We're all very different people, but we care about what we do.
I've seen it firsthand, your team approach to things. You lean on each other all the time. Amazing.
I think when you talk about, how much you need to know about Medicare, during the training itself, most people kind of think, gee, after a day or two of training, I thought I knew something about Medicare, and I really didn't realize just how extensive. So most people don't have a strong background in Medicare. You may have one in computers, or you could have been in the health field itself, or, many other teaching, whatever. So as long as you're willing to spend some time learning and want to do it,
Yeah.
that's what's needed.
But it sounds like those strengths are beneficial no matter what walk of life you really come from.
If you're a lifelong learner, then this program may well be just your cup of tea.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
way to say it. And and obviously we're talking from a perspective, and we're trying to help a potential volunteer understand what they could expect. But there's some rewards that I have to imagine come from volunteering. Anything that you can think about right off the top of your head that would be a reward that person would experience by helping another person with Shine or SMP or LIS or MSP?
I think personal satisfaction just from helping someone to navigate the process or the problem is huge. And we do have quarterly meetings where we all come together for an entire day of education. And so we do meet new friends, and we learn new things every day. And it's a very rewarding program.
Yeah.
And very necessary.
Yeah, and I totally trust your experience, Jen. You've been doing this for a while. Charles, any experiences that you can speak to that would help illustrate to others?
Yeah, well, the things Jan talked about personal, but certainly the number one thing is the feedback you get from the people you're helping. And, I think there's some that stand out, but it's just even little things people are appreciative of. Sometimes it's a matter of you've listened to someone and find out you can't help them at all. But they're very appreciative you've listened to them even,
Yes.
But we save people money, we help them sort through a complicated mass of plans. It's just, their reward is our reward.
Yeah. So there's a great amount of opportunity for a potential volunteer out there if you're interested in helping other people navigate through the complexities of healthcare, to understand how to detect or prevent potential fraud or abuse throughout their healthcare coverage of that, and then also help people understand that they could potentially be eligible for different programs out there. The numbers that we run during the middle of the show and at the end of the show will help you get in touch with our Janet, Charles. I really appreciate you all coming back to our show and enlightening us on all the different complexities that you all deal with on a daily basis that would probably just make me dizzy. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed this month's broadcast. We also hope this episode sparked your interest to contact the Shine program in order to seek help during the open enrollment period. Please remember, this critical period ends December the 7th, so start the process now. We'll see you next month, and until then, please make every attempt to maximize these free and exceptional resources.
James is 70 and a writer whose joint pain has been a story in itself. His doctor prescribed a new medication that may not be affordable, even with James's Medicare Part D plan. James called Shine. Shine volunteer counselors can guide you to money-saving prescription assistance programs, including a program that helps pay Medicare Part D plan costs for limited income seniors. Shine costs nothing but could save you time and money. More information is available at 1-800-963-5337.